The blood moon of Blackwood. In the heart of the dense Blackwood forest lay the quiet village of Blackwood, a place forgotten by time. The villagers led simple lives, their days marked by hard work and their nights by tales of ancient evils that once roamed their lands. Though most considered these stories nothing more than bedtime tales, the old-timers knew better. The most feared of these tales was the legend of Count Dregan, a vampire said to have ruled the forest centuries ago. According to the lore, Count Dregan was banished by a powerful sorcerer, his essence trapped within an ancient oak deep in the forest. The villagers believed that the vampire's curse was sealed with a sacred ritual, only to be undone by a blood moon. Years passed without incident, but as the village prepared for the harvest festival, a sense of unease settled over Blackwood. Whispers spread of the upcoming blood moon, a rare celestial event that hadn't graced the night sky in over a century. Lena, a young and curious herbalist, was the first to notice strange occurrences. Animals went missing, crops withered overnight, and a feeling of dread permeated the air. Determined to uncover the truth, Lena ventured into the heart of Blackwood Forest, guided by the stories her grandmother had told her. As she ventured deeper, the forest grew darker, the trees seeming to close in around her. Eventually, she stumbled upon the ancient oak, its twisted branches reaching out like skeletal hands. At its base lay an old, weathered book bound in leather. The pages spoke of the ritual that had trapped Count Dregan, written in a language long forgotten. Unable to resist the pull of the mysterious book, Lena took it back to the village. That night, as the blood moon rose, she pored over its pages by candlelight. The more she read, the more she realized the depth of the danger they faced. Count Dregan's essence was stirring, and the blood moon would soon break the seal of his imprisonment. Unbeknownst to Lena, the villagers had already begun to notice the changes. Shadows moved with a life of their own, and a chill lingered in the air even at noon. The village elder, Elias, called for a meeting in the town square, urging everyone to stay indoors until the blood moon passed. But it was too late. As the blood moon reached its zenith, a cold wind swept through the village, extinguishing candles and casting the village into darkness. The ancient oak in the forest began to groan and crack, and a deep, resonant laugh echoed through the trees. Lena, clutching the book, rushed to the town square, her breath visible in the frigid air. "We have to perform the ritual again," she cried, "before he breaks free entirely." Elias nodded grimly, gathering the villagers. Together, they made their way to the ancient oak, the forest now alive with sinister whispers and rustling shadows. The book's instructions were clear but required a sacrifice of pure intent to reinforce the seal. As they reached the oak, the ground trembled, and a dark mist began to seep from the tree's roots. Count Dregan's form began to materialize, his eyes glowing with a malevolent hunger. Lena stepped forward, reciting the incantation from the book. Her voice was strong, but the vampire's power was overwhelming. Just as hope seemed lost, a figure emerged from the mist. It was the ghostly form of the sorcerer who had originally sealed Count Dregan. He joined Lena in the incantation, their voices merging into a powerful chant. The vampire roared in fury, his form flickering as the ritual took hold. With a final, deafening crack, the oak tree split open, and Dregan's essence was drawn back into its depths. The mist dissipated, and the forest fell silent once more. Exhausted but relieved, the villagers returned to Blackwood, the blood moon's curse averted for now. The secret within in the following days, life in Blackwood returned to a semblance of normalcy, but Lena was plagued by a nagging sense of unfinished business. Despite the successful ritual, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. She spent hours studying the ancient book, deciphering its cryptic symbols and hidden meanings. One evening, as Lena sat by the fireplace, she noticed a passage she hadn't seen before. It spoke of a secret within the oak, a hidden chamber that held the true source of Count Dregan's power. Intrigued and filled with a mix of fear and determination, Lena knew she had to investigate further. She ventured into the forest once more, this time under the cover of darkness. Guided by the book's instructions, she found a concealed entrance at the base of the ancient oak. With trembling hands, She pushed aside the heavy roots and crawled into a narrow tunnel. The passage led to a hidden chamber deep beneath the tree. The air was thick with an otherworldly energy, and the walls were lined with strange symbols that pulsed with a faint, eerie light. In the center of the chamber stood a stone pedestal, upon which rested a small, ornate box. Lena approached the pedestal cautiously, her heart pounding in her chest. She reached out and lifted the lid of the box, revealing a vial of dark, swirling liquid. The book's final passages flashed through her mind, warning of the true nature of Dregan's curse. As she stared at the vial, a voice echoed in the chamber, low and sinister. "You have found it, child, the essence of immortality. But beware, for it comes with a price." Lena's hand trembled as she held the vial, the weight of the decision pressing down on her. She could destroy it, ensuring Dregan's power would never rise again. But a part of her was tempted by the promise of immortality, the allure of the forbidden knowledge it held. Suddenly, the ground shook, and the chamber began to collapse. Lena had no choice but to flee, clutching the vial as she scrambled back through the tunnel. She emerged into the forest just as the ancient oak sealed itself shut, the entrance disappearing as if it had never been there. Back in the village, Lena's mind raced with questions. What would she do with the vial? Could she trust herself with such a powerful secret? And most importantly, had she truly stopped Dregan, or had she only delayed the inevitable? As the villagers celebrated their apparent victory, Lena stood on the outskirts, the vial hidden beneath her cloak. She knew the battle against Count Dregan was far from over, and the true test of her courage and resolve had only just begun. The blood moon had passed, but its shadow lingered, casting an eerie glow over Blackwood. Lena glanced at the ancient oak one last time, a chill running down her spine. The vampire's essence may have been contained, but the vial in her possession held the key to a darkness that could never be truly vanquished. As she walked back to her cottage, the whispers of the forest seemed to follow her, a constant reminder of the hidden chamber and the secrets it held. The village of Blackwood slept soundly that night, unaware that the real battle was yet to come. And Lena was now the keeper of a secret that could either save them or doom them all. Hash 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 asterisk asterisk, whispers in the night asterisk asterisk, days turned into weeks, and the unease in Blackwood seemed to dissipate. The villagers went about their lives, the memory of the blood moon fading into the background. But Lena remained vigilant, the weight of the vial ever present. She delved deeper into her studies, hoping to find a way to neutralize its power without unleashing the darkness within. One stormy night, as thunder rumbled overhead and rain lashed against her cottage windows, Lena made a breakthrough. The ancient book revealed an obscure ritual that could potentially neutralize the essence without destroying it. However, it required an object of immense personal value to bind the dark magic. Lena knew exactly what she needed: her grandmother's locket, a cherished heirloom passed down through generations. It was the only thing she had left of her family, a symbol of love and protection. The thought of using it for the ritual filled her with dread, but she understood the gravity of the situation. The storm raged on as Lena prepared for the ritual. She placed the locket beside the vial and began to chant the incantation. The air grew thick with energy, and the symbols on the pages glowed faintly. Just as she was about to complete the ritual, a loud knock echoed through her cottage. Startled, Lena hesitated. The knock came again, more insistent this time. She quickly hid the vial and the locket, then opened the door to find Elias standing there, drenched from the rain. "Lena," he said urgently, "we need your help. Strange things are happening in the village. People are falling ill, and we fear it's connected to the blood moon." Lena's heart sank. She had hoped the danger had passed, but it seemed Dregan's influence was still at work. She grabbed her cloak and followed Elias to the village square, where a small crowd had gathered. Several villagers lay on the ground, their faces pale and their breaths shallow. As Lena examined them, she realized the symptoms were similar to those described in the ancient book signs of a dark curse. She knew she had to act quickly, but without the locket, the ritual would be incomplete. Desperation gnawed at her as she tried to think of another way. In the midst of the chaos, a figure stepped forward from the shadows. It was a tall, cloaked man with piercing eyes that seemed to see right through her. He introduced himself as Draven, a traveler passing through Blackwood. He claimed to have knowledge of ancient curses and offered his assistance. Lena was wary, but with no other options, she accepted his help. Together, they worked to stabilize the afflicted villagers, using herbs and remedies to ease their suffering. Draven's knowledge was uncanny, and Lena couldn't shake the feeling that he knew more than he let on. As dawn approached, the villagers showed signs of improvement, but Lena knew it was only a temporary fix. The real threat still loomed, and the vial remained a ticking time bomb. She returned to her cottage, exhausted but determined. Draven followed her, his presence both comforting and unsettling. "You have a powerful artifact," he said quietly, his eyes fixed on her. "I can help you destroy it, but it will require great sacrifice." Lena hesitated, her mind racing. She didn't fully trust Draven, but his knowledge and the strange connection she felt with him were undeniable. "What kind of sacrifice?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Draven's gaze softened. "You must be willing to give up everything you hold dear. The locket, your home, even your own essence. Only then can the darkness be truly vanquished." Lena's heart ached at the thought of losing everything, but she knew the village's safety depended on her decision. As she pondered her next move, a chilling realization dawned on her. Draven's presence, his timing, and his knowledge all pointed to one thing. He was connected to Dragon. The intrigue deepened as Lena faced a choice: trust Draven and risk everything, or find another way to neutralize the vial's power. The shadows of Blackwood closed in around her, and the whispers in the night grew louder, reminding her that the true battle had only just begun.